Okay, let's work on our Pythagorean spiral here. Sorry that the light isn't perfect on this. Let's try that there too. I'm going to add a little point to the end of that line because I need to go through that point. Step one, the real step one, I got to extend this line. Okay, so I carefully line up my ruler or straight edge. It's going to matter the type of pencil you use here too. I'm going to very lightly draw this because this is a construction line. Be careful to line things up. You don't want them off center. You don't want them missing. So now we're going to build our perpendicular bisector. So that's step one. Don't label the steps on there. That's going to be too much. So I need to set my center. We're using this point for the center of it, or where we're drawing the perpendicular to. Get this a little bit left. Again, these should be lighter lines. I moved my compass there. I'm going to erase that. Sorry, I didn't do a good job on that. Get that in there. Get my line there. Get my line there. We're just looking for those intersections. So that's step two. And step two, we're looking for those intersections right there and right there. You don't have to draw those in. I'm just trying to make them a little easier for you to see on this. I guess I can zoom this in a little bit here too. I didn't even think about that. Okay, so now step three. I go to the intersection over here. I didn't draw those points really well. I usually don't do that. I extend this a little bit. I come up here. Again, that should be a light line. That's on the dark side. Another light line. And drawing lighter lines makes your pencil stay sharp longer, and it makes the lead last longer. So again, there's our intersection. So those are our step threes. Step four is going to be drawing our perpendicular in again. Still, this is a very light colored line. So I get that in there. And now it's time to do our triangle. We need to get our other sheet out here. This has our 3 centimeter segments on it because remember, we're not using the ruler. So I'm going to set my compass to 3 centimeters here and just copy this segment length. I get it there. I draw it to make sure that it's going through the center of the line. Now I'm going to come here, put this at our point right there. Draw the line right there. That's our step 4. And that's the point we're looking for to complete our triangle. Now I'm going to draw on our triangle. I'm going to make this line a little darker. I'm going to make this one in here. And we have our triangle. So that's our, this was my step 5. This is my step 6. Now we're going to start it all over again here. It's just doing the same thing over and over again. But I'm going to, instead of the base of the triangle, this is the new base of my triangle. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to line this up. I like this one for extending a little better. And I'm going to extend that line just like I did before. Okay, again, it'll get tight at the bottom of the page here. Don't worry about that. It gets tight somewhere regardless of where you put this. So there's my step 1 again. I come out with my compass. And I can use the previous distance. I can adjust it a little bit. That vertex up there, that's the center of this. And I'm going to light line, look for those intersections. Those are my 2 and 2. I'm going to stretch out my compass now. This is step 3. I'm going to come up above this, light line, because it's a construction line, go to the other intersection, light line. I got my X up there. You can see it. If you want, you can put a point on it if it helps. Now I have to go from this point to that one. Let's get this pencil out. Make sure I use the right line here. Now I'm going to draw that line in really light. Another nice perpendicular we got there. Okay, now I need to go back to my 3 centimeter. And then I got this set up because you'll wear these out with the points. You can go to either side of this, it doesn't matter. I get this set to 3 centimeters, maybe a little wide. Make sure it looks as accurate as possible. I'm going to come here and I'm going to measure my 3 centimeters. Whoops, right there. There's my point. Now this first one was equilateral because this was 3 centimeters, this was 3 centimeters. That's our right angle we constructed. Again, we've constructed a right angle right here again. You can mark those, you don't have to. But this isn't going to be equilateral, so I'm going to draw my point in here. I didn't line these up very good. I could have done a better job on that. Get my perpendicular in, slightly different order than I did last time. And I forgot to mention, this is triangle 1. This is triangle 2. Don't forget to label these. Those numbers you need, not these other steps. And I'm going to start repeating the steps again. I'm going to extend this line. So I extend that line. You can see my ruler's not or I hit a little inconsistency on my desk here. I have little sections on this desk. Now I'm going to use that same 3 centimeters we had before. I could adjust it. I don't have to. Step 2. Step 2. Whoops. Barely hits that line up there. I hate it when I don't make a line long enough or I make my other ones too long. Okay, next time I should have checked that one. So now I get to extend my compass. Come above it. Come above it. I've got my line. There's my little point up there if you didn't see it. Go from the vertex of the triangle to draw my perpendicular. So this is perpendicular to that last hypotenuse. Oops, I should have done a light line here. I made it a little dark a little early, but that's, we'll live. Try not to make mistakes like I do. I'll come here, I'll get my 3 centimeters set again. That looks good. Come here, measure off my 3 centimeters. Right there. So that's my point. Draw my hypotenuse in here. Looks good. I'm going to get my eraser out and lighten up this line a little bit up here, since that shouldn't have been that dark. That looks a little better. Now, I was labeled at 1, 2. You could label this 3, or you could label this H3 for hypotenuse 3. And down here, you could label this theta 3 for angle 3. So you can label the triangle itself, or you can label each hypotenuse and each angle in the triangle. Then you don't need the 1 and 2. You got the 3 in those right there. And you're just going to keep repeating this. Let's do one more. You're going to end up doing 16 of these total. How long have we gone for? 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay. So let's do one more. I'm going to extend my line. By this point, you should be getting a little more comfortable with these steps. I'm going to set my distance. Now, I went too far on this one before. I don't want to go too far this time, so I'm just going to check up here. Get my line in there. Get my line in there. Now, extend it. I like this technique I learned in one of the videos the other day for setting the length for this next step. I go between the 2 points. There's my X. Again, you don't have to use that point. You can line these up. What's this? I call this step. This is step 5. So this was step 1, step 2, step 3. Actually, this is step 4. I lost some step names in there. Step 5. That was it. Again, this is a light one. I got to get my 3 centimeter measure. Now, you can use any of these. I put multiple ones on here because the little pointy end of your pen, your compass can rip up the rip a hole in the paper, make it harder to use. I got it set. I come over here and I measure 3 centimeters. Whoa. I measure 3 centimeters. I get it down. There's my point for my next hypotenuse. I'm going to draw that in nice and dark. I'm going to complete my triangle up here. And that's triangle 4. That would be H4. That would be theta 4 down here. Again, you can use either one numbering technique. I don't mind. And you're going to keep repeating this 16 times. And then it'll come out all the way around at the bottom. It shouldn't come all the way to the top. Don't force it. Make sure you do your 3 centimeters. I made one mistake earlier where I actually went to the wrong point on here. I could tell on the first one because it didn't come out isosceles. That's stop and pause and think number 1. Pause and think number 2 at the end of these. What do you notice about each of these hypotenuse? What's happening to each one of these every time you draw a hypotenuse? And what's happening to each of these central angles? That's pause and think number 2 in there. So good luck. Have some fun with this. After you get a few of these done, it'll get a lot simpler because you're doing the same thing over. I've got mine taped down. You don't have to tape yours down. You're more than welcome to. But some people like to turn it a little bit so it's always on the bottom. That's it. Have a good day.